All right, everybody, welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley, and we are going to be talking about two companies today that are actually one, Shenks and Bombergers, both no longer in existence, but do come out via a yearly release from Michter's. And that would be the third component in this story that goes all the way back to 1753. So you talk about an old distillery. Shanks was opened in 1753 by a gentleman by the name of John Shenk, who was a Swiss Mennonite in Schaefferstown, Pennsylvania. So that's where he started distilling. It's still where the distillery sits today. It's a National Historic place, so it can't be really torn down. And so, but a lot of it's gone. So it's been in disrepair for many years. So it closed down in 1990. So it's just been sitting around since then. But my understanding in doing some research, there's still some stuff all the way back from, John Shank's time as the owner, which is kind of cool to think about. So we've got a country that's not that old. This actually predates the country, of course. So it's kind of cool that we have that history here, and it's at least carried on by the brands since the distillery itself is long shuttered. So John Shenk owned the company. He just did rye back in the day. Of course, that was pretty common. No one was really making a corn-based whiskey in the 1700s. It just wasn't a thing. That wouldn't come till later as people started to move south and west and begin to kind of land in what is now Kentucky. That became more popular. So it was just a rye whiskey place. Well, their big claim to fame, and historians say it's true, but of course, documentation, there's no such thing as photographs or anything like that going back that long ago. But supposedly, during the Revolutionary War, the troops were down, and Washington happened to be in the area. He knew there was a distillery there, and supposedly George Washington himself led his troops into the distillery, and he bought whiskey for the troops. So they bought provisions, and just as a way to motivate the troops and keep them going. So it's not uncommon in the military to have whiskey available. And many times, of course, even if there's a base camp, they're distilling and things like that. But supposedly, according to lore, if nothing else, that Washington did purchase some whiskey from Shanks. In the mid 1800s, a gentleman by the name of Abraham Bomberger bought it, and he did change the name to Bombergers, and it would stay that name all the way through the start of Prohibition. At that time, Bombergers closed down like every other place, and after Prohibition, the distillery was purchased by a man by the name of Lou Foreman, would buy it, and he would sell it too. As World War II broke out, he got called back into the military and had to sell the distillery. And then he would come back. When he got back, it would change hands a couple times. Even Shenley owned it for a while, which I thought was interesting. But when he got back, he was able to buy it again. And he hired Charles Everett Beam, part of the Beam family based out of Kentucky. And Charles Everett Beam came up there, and he developed what would become their signature whiskey. Let's see here. If I wrote that down, I was smart. I thought I did. But anyway, he came up with what would become their signature whiskey, and he named it after the boss, the company owner, Lou Foreman's two sons, who were named Michael and Peter, and he called that whiskey Michter's. And Lou Foreman liked it so much, he changed the name of the distillery to Michter's. So that would become the name of the distillery. He would ultimately sell it as well. It would change hands a couple more times. By the 60s and 70s, it was really starting to kind of go downhill. They did have a little bit of revitalization, I understand, in like mid 70s, 76, 77, 78. They actually focused on tourism and actually built a separate, smaller distillery, which is not uncommon today. You go to Beam and they have a small distillery set up on the tour, not the big production distillery, but you get to see how things are made. And they actually did pretty well with tourism for a while, but ultimately it would wane. They tried all the things that other people were trying, the decanters and stuff like that. Their most famous one, I think, is probably the King Tut decanter. So if you look online, you can find some old Michter's King Tut decanters. And that actually caught the eye of a Harvard law student by the name of Joe Malioco, who thought those old decanters were cool. He had actually started an import-export type of company, and he started buying those and selling them. And so he started kind of selling Michter's products and things like that. He had bartended and always been interested in the alcohol industry. And after he graduated Harvard Law School, he went to Yale, and he would meet a guy by the name of Dick Newman, who was an executive in the alcohol industry. He had worked for national distillers, managing some of the brands like Old Crow and Old Taylor. And then he became president and CEO of Austin Nichols, which, of course, was Wild Turkey at that time. So Joe ended up partnering with him. They decided they wanted to open a distillery. They looked into Michter's and decided they couldn't use the property there, but liked the name. And Joe, being an attorney who didn't want to be an attorney, he decided that wasn't the career for him. But he was, of course, able to utilize the legal system, and he knew how to do that. And he was able to secure the rights for Michter's for $250. So how about that? So that whole brand, that big brand that is today, his investment was $250. So crazy to think about, but that's how he was able to pick it up. A lot of excitement happened in the area at the time. Folks in Pennsylvania thought Michter's would come back, but at least if it wasn't going to be there, it would be a Pennsylvania-based company. It did not. Of course, they moved it to Kentucky, and built a wonderful visitor experience that's on Whiskey Row. So if you ever get an opportunity to go to Michter's, man, it's first class. And that's kind of what you'll find about Joe Malioco, is everything that he does is really kind of super first class. He won't sell any whiskey that, unless it's just absolutely what he would consider perfection. So there's lots of stories go around Michter's of things that they've created and then sold off. They don't throw it away, but they sell it off on the cheap to get rid of it. So Michter's, of course, started out buying stock, and then they also would start distilling before they even had a distillery by sending their distiller into other people's and buying still time. So they've been producing for longer than they've had a distillery. But again, they still did source a lot of products. And the products we're going to be talking about today, the Shenks and Bombergers, are sourced products. It does say it is Kentucky distilled, Kentucky bottled by Michter's, but it's not distilled by Michter's. It's Kentucky distilled, though. So kind of narrows it down who it might be. As we know, there's not a whole lot of distilleries that sell aged whiskey like that. So you're talking, maybe Heaven Hill or maybe Barton, but not a whole lot of other ones to really buy from. Again, I mentioned that in 1980, it had been named National Historic Landmark. At the time when they had their financial issues, Michter's did, 1989, they were the smallest distillery in the United States. That wouldn't be the case today. Obviously, there's very small distilleries today, but this was before the big craft movement. So they struggled, and in 1989 they filed bankruptcy. The hope was to emerge from that and start again, but it didn't happen. Dick Stoll, who had trained under Charles Everett Beam, legendary master distiller Dick Stoll, he got the call on Valentine's Day 1990 to shutter the place, to lock it up, and it was not going to come out of bankruptcy court. And then that was it. When he put the lock on there, he was literally the last person to leave that, and it was no longer in business. So that was kind of the last act there. Dick Stoll, of course, one of the most famous distillers in my mind, one of the all-time greats. He still had a career in front of him. He still worked for about 20 years, but he did so as a janitor. So he worked as a school janitor, which just amazes me. That great of a distiller stuck as a school janitor. But he would have one final, maybe two final chapters after he left. He did in 1989, which would be the year that they filed bankruptcy. Of course, they're struggling for cash. They looked back in their reserves, and a gentleman by the name of Adolf Hirsch, who was a banker, local banker, he decided to try to help save Michter's when they were having all these financial issues. And he ordered a run of 400 barrels, which is a significant order, 400 barrels. And he just did it to give money to Michter's, to help try to save them. Really more of a gift than anything. He never had any intention of bottling it or anything like that. He didn't want to be in the alcohol business, but he just basically paid to do that. And to their credit, maybe that's part of the problems that they had. They never sold it. They never did anything with it until they were having cash strapped and having the problems. And they were going to go to bankruptcy court. So they did sell it in 1989 to a guy by the name of Gordon Hugh. Gordon, of course, was just an investor, so he went to Julian Van Winkle, and Julian Van Winkle, of course, had a bottling plant where he would bottle his Pappy Van Winkle, or his old Rip, I should say, at that time. And he went in and he bottled it for them. So the A.H. Hirsch Reserve 16-year-old bourbon, they did 2 bottlings of it, 91 and 2003. Blue wax on the 91, gold wax on the 2003, and many people say that's the greatest bourbon that they've ever drank. I've never had it myself. I can't answer that for you, whether it is or not. It was 91.6 proof. Chuck Cowdery famously wrote a book about it, The Greatest Bourbon That You'll Never Try, I believe is the title of the book. So it really does have legendary status. Royce Neely and I did go up. Dick Stoll passed away in August of this year, but a little bit over a year ago. Royce Neely of Neely Family Distillery and I went up there, and we got to meet with Dick Stoll. We spent the whole day with him, and it was one of the most amazing days ever, because Royce Neely, being a young distiller, if you don't know him, he's under 30 years old. He's 28 or 29, somewhere in there. And he spent time learning from Dick Stoll, who told him everything that he knew about whiskey. It was so great. Royce really wanted to get into yeast propagation and kind of expanding upon what he's doing. Dick Stoll lined out how to do everything, how Michter's used. He remembered everything. His mind was like a steel trap when it came to making whiskey. Again, he had been out of the business for over 30 years in reality at that point, but and his wife would make fun of him because he can't even work an iPad. He didn't even use email or anything like that, and a very non-tech person. But man, he remembered everything. pH levels, you could down to the 100th percentage. He remembered all that stuff. And it was an incredible day spent with him, learning about the business and helping Royce. And I know that's made a big impact in his business. And he's developed a yeast room with basically blueprints that Dick Stoll wrote out on a piece of paper right there, sitting down at a table at Stoll and Wolf. So, and which was a distillery that a local guy by the name of Eric Wolf approached Dick Stoll, this legendary distiller who was long since retired, even from his janitor job, and they opened a distillery together. They opened a distillery called Bomberger's. So Bomberger's was theirs. They actually released products under the name Bomberger's. So there are some things that exist there. But lo and behold, what happened to them when they did that? Well, word came from Joe Malioco. Don't forget, he's an attorney. And even though he was not using that brand name at that time, he came to them and said, when I bought Michter's, I bought all of the names associated with that. So I bought Shenk's, I bought Bomberger's, and they ended up going to court and they lost. So Joe Malioco got those, and then he did begin using them. So then you do have to own a trademark, you have to use it. So he did begin releasing Shenk's and Bomberger's. So that's where we got to where we're at today, a source product through Michter's. Kind of weird. Initially, they didn't really say anything about Michter's on there. Now it does. So they kind of, I don't know if they were trying to do it totally separate. Maybe this is kind of a little side thing, but now it's pretty transparent. It's, Michter's talks about, it's on their website, these releases. So, and the products look like this. They're not age stated. There's the Shenk's one. And not a whole lot of information. I mean, besides, the basics of proof and that. And it does say, like I said, distilled and bottled in Kentucky. And then Bomberger's, again, looks very, very similar. So not real exciting of a bottle. But they come out, they just do it once a year now. So it's officially a once a year release that they do. It's been very tough to find in the past. This year, a little bit easier to find. So I don't know if they're trying to amp up the production a little bit to get it out there a little bit more, but it was definitely a little bit more accessible this year than it had been in years past. So that's a little bit about Shenk's, Bomberger's, and Michter's and how all those tie together, and sets us up to do our tasting. So again, we're going to start out with the Shenk's. So this is the 2020 Shenk's that we'll be tasting here. Looks like it's got a nice dark color to it. We always like to talk about on the nose, has a You hear different things, you know, as like I was even doing this event, you hear some people say, well, I like Bombergers, I don't like Shanks, or I like Shanks, I don't like Bombergers. So it'll be interesting to hear kind of what everybody thinks about that. Again, no wrong answers. It's all personal preference, but on the nose, what do you guys think there? Seems pretty rich. Very caramel, definitely. Kind of those traditional oaky little spice. Almost like a, I don't know, like a caramel roll, I think would be what I would describe it as. What about you guys? What do you guys think? Chocolate malt? I'm going to check that. I could see that. Kind of cool. Chocolate malt. There's definitely something there. All right. Let's give it a taste and see what we think. Spice cake. All right. I like that. Let's give it a taste and see where we fall on the taste scale here. Orange peel, tobacco, and cinnamon. Yeah. I think on the nose, it's got a lot going on. So you do get a lot of those things. The Shanks comes in at, let's see here. What is the proof on this thing? 91.2 proof. It's definitely got a lot of spice to it. I mean, it's got a nice kick, kind of on the back of the palate, I would say, for me anyway. Mulling spice, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Very fall type of feel to it for sure.
Do they say anything about the mash bill?
It does not. It really doesn't have a whole lot of information there. Nothing about the mash bill at all. No, it just says sour mash whiskey, sour mash Kentucky whiskey, actually. And on the back, it's just about the legend of John Shenk on the back. So, no, nothing really to give you an idea about what's going on there. What else you guys get on the taste on this one? Mr. Tim?
I keep coming back to like a barbecue spice.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Okay.
But not smoky barbecue, just a traditional standard kind of spice on the back, like a barbecue spice.
Like a barbecue spice, okay. Burnt toast. Okay. Not horribly burned, I don't hope. Which could be quite bitter. Yeah, that's good. Danny, you usually like to weigh in on these things. What are you getting on taste wise on this one?
Kind of like a caramel type coffee.
Caramel coffee, okay. Nice finish from Randy. I agree. It for a 91.2 or 6 or whatever it was. Yeah, the finish is pretty nice, pretty warm, solid. It feels higher up on the scale, which I think is good. Does not feel like it's under 100. I know that. Yep. John, what are you thinking, man? You're trying it. Anything you'd like to contribute to taste wise to this one?
Yeah, it's just I agree with the like the burnt toast. It's I definitely like the rye spice in it, and it's got a lot of I don't know. There's something almost like burnt brown sugar or something as well to me, but it's good. I like it.
That's good. Yeah, very good. Who else wants to weigh in on any of this stuff? We do always like to come back to them too, so it's always good to get a little more air to them. So hopefully you've saved some of it. We'll do all three here. Again, not everyone has all three, but we'll do all three, and then we'll come back and go through them one last time before we end today. So the next one, of course, is going to be the 2020 Bombergers. This one comes in at 108 proof. 108 proof. So a little bit higher up. I have not tried this one yet myself. The 2017, the one we're going to be trying in a second, I have tried that one before. I do remember that one definitely had a distinct cherry taste to it, but we'll see if that holds up. This is from the bottle that I've had since 2017, so we'll see how it hangs up. And I haven't tried it in preparation for this, so it'll be fun to go back to that. Let's see what we get on this one on the nose. Different nose for sure. Different profile.
A lot lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot lighter. I do floral. Okay. I do get kind of oaky on it for sure on the nose, which kind of makes sense. It's pretty dark. Nice amber color to it.
There is that cherry there, like you talked about already. It's almost like a cobbler type cherry. It's not a sweet cherry. It's more of a. I think it goes with that burnt or that baked type of.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cobbler type of thing with.
Yeah. I agree. Good. All right. Prune. Yes. All right. Let's try this one and see what we think on the taste here. Here we go. Okay, very definitely very different than the Shenks. Cherry cobbler is maybe it's stuck in my mind, but I get that taste for sure. Butterscotch, excellent. You
said 108, right, Steve?
108 on this one. Yep.
Again, doesn't taste like a 108.
No. No. Yeah, quite a step up from the other one, but yeah. What else? What else are you guys getting on the taste on this one? Butterscotch and maple syrup, so kind of some classics there, yes. Not as spicy as the first. I agree. There's definitely some spice there, but definitely not as quite as fiery as the last one. Overall warmth, I don't know, it's comparable to the last one. Mm-hmm. There's black licorice. Yeah.
No, that's one.
There's also some sort of complement to the cherry cobbler. I think it's vanilla, so I don't know. It kind of gives the vanilla cherry cobbler, maybe vanilla ice cream kind of.
A la mode.
Yeah, a little a la mode.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a la mode flavor. Yeah. I think it's got that going on. All right. We have a nice small group here today. It allows us to do fun things. So I'll just follow how you guys are on my screen. So I'm not picking anybody out or anything like that. I just want to ask, what do you like better, the Shenks or the Bombergers? And then for the VIP tickets, we're going to taste the 2017 in just a second. And then for everyone, we'll go back and go through ours to revisit them after they've had some air. But for right now, just a quick pick. Who likes Shenks and who likes Bombergers better? All right. The legend is first on my screen. Shenks or Bombergers? It's a simple question.
Bombergers.
Bombergers. Okay. Bombergers goes up by 1. All right. Scott, what do you think?
I'm going to say I like the Shanks a little bit better.
Shanks. Okay. Shanks has tied it up. John, what do you think?
I would say Shanks.
Shanks goes up 2-1. Justine?
Shank.
Shanks goes up 3-1. Randy? Shanks or Bombergers?
I actually like the higher proof Bombergers.
Bombergers closes the gap a little bit. It's down 3-2. All right. All right. Next up is Kevin.
Bombergers.
Bombergers has tied it up. After falling behind, they've come roaring back. All right, Rob, what do you think? Shanks or Bombergers?
Say Bombergers, not even close for me.
Not even close. Bombergers goes up 4-3. Tim?
Hamburgers.
Bombergers goes up 5-3. The Robinsons, we've got 2 of them. So here's where we're at. Shanks. Shanks has tied it up. We're 5-5. We're back to knotted. All right. Jen.
I have to go with the Bombergers.
Bombergers goes up 6-5. Mr. Bill.
Thanks.
Shanks. We're 6-6. This is as close as, which is good. I don't know. This is so far. It's exciting. Danny, we're at a 6-6 tie. What do you like better, Shanks or Bombergers?
Bombergers.
Bombergers goes up 7-6. And Kent goes Shanks. He voted via the chat system. So,
All right.
Tied up.
Steve, what do you
So
like?
I have to vote. I was hoping I would not have to vote. I do like both of these a lot. I think they're both really good. I would say I got a little bit more flavor out of the Shanks. I'm voting Shanks, meaning Shanks wins. Shanks wins. How about that? Shanks is our champion. I don't know that that means anything, but it was as close as can be. You forced me to vote, so yes. All right.
I had money on Bombergers. So.
You had money. That's what I would have had money on Bombergers going in. It seems like Bombergers gets more love online for sure. So that's interesting. For those of you that have VIP tickets, the 2017 Bombergers, let's give that one a try. I do remember this one, like I said, very fondly, very fondly. So found this actually not locally. Jeremy Schell, back in 2017, pointed out to a place where it was available online. Who has the VIP ticket? Who's got that? So, all right. Okay, and Tim. So, yeah, looks like our all VIPs. So, if you don't mind, let's help out those that didn't get it by sharing some of the experience here. Okay, what are we getting on the nose here?
That's better.
I feel like I just walked into like an ice cream shop or a Dairy Queen, where you get that smell of the vanilla, the strawberries, you get the dark fruits, you get kind of all that.
Yeah.
It's like I walked right into a Dairy Queen or something like that, or a local ice cream shop.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sweet.
I'll tell you what else you get that would be at Dairy Queen is, the cones actually have a smell in there. So it's, I don't know what you would, baked, whatever a cone is made out of. I don't know. It's some sort of baked.
Those waffle cones that have a lot of vanilla in them.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. So that's kind of part of it too. So let's give this one a taste and see where we're at here, and then we can compare and contrast to what they have this year. Okay. Yeah. So this one also came in at 108. So that must be the standard proof that they do with this release, at least from what I've seen. So this one,
very similar.
This one is same thing, 108 proof. But yes, I do get the stronger cherry taste to this one still. So that was my memory of it, and I do get a stronger cherry taste to this one than the other one.
Everything seems stronger. Like the smell is the 20 times 20% or so, and the flavor is very similar, but maybe 20% stronger.
Packs more. I agree with that.
Stronger puncher, not.
I agree with the cross board. I don't know why that would be. I have no idea. But yeah, if it came down to my vote and I was the tiebreaker and I was comparing the Shanks versus the 2017 Bombergers, I would vote Bombergers. I do really like this 2017 Bomberger.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Not that the 2020 is good too. It's a solid whiskey, I think, but this one's a cut above. I think I do like that one better.
We had tried the 17 at a friend's house a while back, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was really, really good then. So
yeah. So it holds up. Like I said, I haven't had it in a long time. You kind of get sidetracked sometimes with your collection, and had this, and I thought that'd be unique to pour those and make what I had left available for this through exclusive tickets. So yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of neat to be able to do a side by side. I always wish I had more stuff where we could do way more side by sides. I love the side by side stuff because sometimes your memory does fade a little bit, or sometimes you taste it and you're like, oh yeah, that's why I like this one.
yeah, that's why I was amazed that I like the Shenks better this time.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't
expecting to.
I would have gone all in on I like Bombergers better, and I did vote for Shenks, as we know here. So
Neil, blink twice if everything's okay, or Melanie say you needed to like the Shenks.
She has a shank held right to his leg right there, right below the camera. Yeah, vote for Shenks. All right, let's go back and revisit these. Let's go all the way back to our Shenks. And again, once we've had a little air to this, and let's see what we think of this and see if it holds up too. It does always change.
Oh, you've got a whole bunch left over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, this kind of has just a little bit of a hint of that musty smell like you get out of an old bottle.
An old bottle, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like
on the nose,
on the nose, the flavors have kind of intensified a little bit even.
Yeah, not quite funky, but
right.
A little bit musty.
Yeah, musty, but
in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. Definite. I said
Bring
kind
the
of
Rick House back to mind.
Yeah.
Adds a little bit to the flavor profile.
Yeah. All right, let's taste this one again.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. I think, did someone say cinnamon to this one before, or was it the other one? Is it? I definitely get a little hint of cinnamon now that I wasn't detecting before, which is cool.
I'm getting kind of a candy corn out of it now.
Candy corn, okay.
That's definitely it's a lot sweeter now.
Yeah.
You saw the
I talked about chocolate before, and I didn't see that or smell it or taste it, but now I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it shows you how quickly these things evolve. So, but that's why we'd like to do a pour, get the experience of it, and then, wait a little bit and come back to it because it does tend to change. So. Very good. Solid pour. So it is definitely one I'll be on the lookout for next year when it comes out. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So I got lucky with these. I went into a small shop and was looking at the bourbon. I didn't have anything. And I'm getting ready to leave, and the guy stops me and says, "So you like bourbon?" I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, "Look at this." And he pulls out a Weller Full Proof. I'm like, okay, how much is that? He's like, $499. I'm like, I don't like it that much. He's like, well, I got Blanton's. Look at this, $169. Well, no, I don't want that. And he's like, I don't know what these are. I just got them in today. And I was like, okay, what's that? And he gave like the regular retail. I'm like, yeah, I'll take those. And he's like, which one? I said, yes, both. Okay. Oh, really? So, yeah.
What is the retail?
It was like 119 a piece, or 109 a piece, I think, is what they were. So
that's about what I thought.
Yeah, 109, and yes, one. That's what he told me too. And then one rang up a little bit more. And he says, like, my boss has raised one. He's like, but I told you that, so he gave it to me for the price that he said. So, but yeah,
hundreds, the old 80.
Yeah, true. very true. So, but yeah, I was happy to see him, and I hadn't seen him. I mean, I know they hit the market, and I saw other people in St. Louis get them in that, but I haven't seen them since, and just only at that one place. So, but
Online, it looks like the Shanks is priced slightly higher than the Bombergers.
okay, makes some sense with our unofficial polling, but it makes us feel like we did something right then, if that's the case. So they're both priced the same as far as I know. At least that's what I paid on the retail. The same. All right, let's revisit our 2020 Bombergers. Everybody should have that one. I'm going to do this kind of. Yeah.
You got about half a bottle of each one. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have about. Now I get more butterscotch this time.
More butterscotch?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I kind of catch the cherry more on the finish. It's like almost like you taste it and then you breathe out, and then it has that cherry taste. So it's a late cherry taste to it for sure, but it's there.
Yeah, it's not prominent.
Like a cherry cough drop kind of.
Yeah, like the ones that you had, they probably weren't even actually really cough drop. Like the Ludens are.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think
when you're a
of.
kid, you had the Ludens. Yeah. Those,
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
those tasted better than candy.
Yeah.
My mom wouldn't allow me to have those, but that'd be the ones I would buy on my own. So yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, and those are good. I hadn't had one of those in a long time, but yeah, they're good.
We'll have to be like Jason Bronner and smell the glasses later.
Yeah, that's always interesting to do. Just nose a glass after it's been empty for a while. It's actually pretty interesting experience. It's the flavors that hold up and tend to be pretty potent still, even with an empty glass. So
I usually always get tobacco,
like
a smoky tobacco in an empty glass.
Yeah. Seems like recently I've been finding like citrus in a lot, but not in either of these. So no citrus taste at all to me in these. So that's good. I thought maybe there was a malfunction in my brain where everything tasted suddenly like citrus. So these do not. So I feel good about that. Any other thoughts on our Bombergers before we go back and revisit that 2017 version? All right, let's check that one out one last time here. 2017 Bombergers. That's really good. That's the pick of this one. It's of this thing for sure. At least it's my favorite. I really like this one. Intense flavor, lot of layering of flavors.
It's almost like those cherry pie pastries that are like 5,000 calories. Wax paper.
Yeah.
It's like that cherry filling almost on the end. It's like, holy cow, it's very intense.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Those things. Okay. Keith, do that scratching move again. I thought that was a signal to me. Yeah, see, he was scratching with his middle finger. He was doing this, and I thought, what the heck's Keith saying to me here? No message. Okay, nothing subliminal there. All right, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. That's good. I like what they've got, and I would be a buyer again for these. Try them out next year for sure.
Steve, do they ever sell this at Michter's? Like, do they sell these too? I thought I had seen these at Michter's.
They do. They do. And Michter's has been selling. I don't even know if the distillery's open. I don't think it is, but they have been selling things online with curbside pickup and a lot of good stuff. Like they're toasted, and I guess they've got a new one that I didn't even know about. A toasted sour mash, I think, is that So I got a buddy who bought a bunch of stuff. He bought the Michter's Toasted Rye. He bought this Michter's Toasted Sour Batch, all online. So they've been selling this stuff online, which I assume this is come and gone, because this was a little while ago when I bought it. So I'm sure that's come and gone. But they do have releases that they're doing at the distillery for curbside pickup, which is kind of the new thing going on right now. Curbside pickup, and a lot of them still aren't open. I mean, the craft are almost because they have to be. I mean, they make their money off tours and bringing people into the gift shops, but really the ones that are bigger, mid-size, I would say Michter's is a mid-size on up, really aren't open. They're not open. The big ones definitely aren't open, with no plans to be. So. And I mean, I talked to the people, and the reason why they say that they're not is, they can't afford a COVID outbreak on their, the staff to bring it into production area. They can't afford to lose, for an extended time, 10 people or something. They've got to get out too much product. So the craft people, of course, again, need that. And again, you're talking about much less staff. They're not thinking along the lines of, boy, if we bring in and our staff of 2 gets COVID, we're not going to be able to get out the products that we need. That doesn't really factor into it, their thought process, like it does with the big guys that worry about a big, large scale outbreak that might impede their ability to get their product out to their partners on the field. So that's what's going on there. Cool. Any other questions about these specific? What I'll do now is I am going to turn off the recorder, say goodbye to our folks that are watching the recording. And as always, I like to stick around for a little bit and answer any questions that you guys might have about what's going on at the ABV Network, what's going on in the industry, anything you want to ask. So I'm going to turn off the recorder now, and we'll stick around and for as long as you like. All right.